Hello, my name is Gerald Mays. We'll be discussing today the kettlebell swing, the RKC hardstyle kettlebell swing, which is a lot different from the American style swing. A lot of the American style swing is really just a squat to a kettlebell lift or a lat raise, or whatever you want to call it. The kettlebell RKC hardstyle is more hip hinge to hip thrust. So we'll be discussing the kettlebell swing in regards to degrees of freezing, freezing degrees of freedom. There we go. All right, so here we go. All right, so we'll be discussing the kettlebell swing, RKC hardstyle. The things that are most important is some kettlebell swings, they focus on doing this. That's not what we're going to do. It's too much flailing. It doesn't actually penetrate or do the things that we want it to do. So your first movement is always from here. It's a hip hinge. Hip hinge is the most important part of a kettlebell swing. From here, it's a hike pass with the kettlebell. You'll feel the weight change in the kettlebell. When it comes up, as it begins to fall down, you're going to thrust the hips forward. And the momentum that you generate through the hips will force the kettlebell up. You'll feel it change again. As it starts to come back down, you go back into a hip hinge, catch, thrust. So you don't want to worry about lifting the kettlebell. You don't want to squat. You don't want to bend over. You want to hinge at the hips as if you're going to do a deadlift. Hinge at the hips. When you're hinging at the hips, you want to make sure that your trunk is tight. So you want to breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth, making sure you engage your entire midsection. It should not be moving. There should be no movement through the vertebrae at all, from the lumbar all the way up. As you come back down, you're gonna hike past. I'll demonstrate it to you with the kettlebell. All right, so you always want to get in good athletic stance, feet shoulder a little further than shoulder width apart. Feet shoulder width apart. You can't see my feet, you can't see my shoulders. All right, so when you go into a hip hinge, you want to come back. From this position, you should be able to take your hands, place it right on the top of the kettlebell. I should be able to lean back as far as I can, hold on to the kettlebell. To start this out, if you are a beginner or novice and never done it, start with just this sit and a hike. Straight from this side. When I swing through or I hike past through, I can feel the weight change from going up to coming back down. As it comes back down, I want you to thrust the hips forward. Looks like this. Show you from this way. All right, so when you're teaching the kettlebell swing, make sure you break down the swing into pieces. Because if you just tell a client or a novice person who's never done the kettlebell to go over there and swing the kettlebell, then they'll just start swinging. This for them is a swing. That is not what we want. You want to teach them piece by piece. So you want to know as you go down, as you come down, once you get to that squat, nothing else moves. Your vertebrae is stable, you're engaging your abdominals, your lower back, your glutes are loading, and as you come up to a hip thrust, then your glutes are now firing, the hip flexors are extending, and you're thrusting all your momentum out. As I said before, you don't want to lift the kettlebell, because then that's a lat raise. The momentum from loading the glutes to firing the glutes forces the kettlebell up. So you want to make sure that from here, the knee is stable, the ankle is stable, the hips are stable, the glutes are loaded. As you hike pass through, as the momentum starts to carry down, that's when you start to initiate the movement through the hips, through the hip thrust forward. Squeeze it up, then back down to a catch. So as it comes up, it begins to fall, you'll feel it. That's where you go back down into the hike pass, over and over.
All right, so I remembered as I left the gym, there were a few things that I wanted to touch on to really reiterate and really hope that everyone understands that when you're doing, anytime you're teaching a video or anytime you're teaching a movement that no one has ever done or the person that you're teaching to has never done it, you have to use a mechanism that allows them to learn it piece by piece. I know I said that in the video before, but if you can't properly break down the movement, then you can't properly teach it. And I don't think I really went in depth as to what the movements were. The kettlebell swing is broken down into two movements. There's a hike pass movement and the hip thrust. Did say that, however, the degrees of freezing, which is what we were talking about, it wasn't just an instructional video for me to teach you how to swing it, but what is supposed to be moving, what isn't supposed to be moving. So as you go into your hike pass, the only thing that moves are your hips and your shoulders, and you load the glutes. All right. So it's all about changing momentum now. You have to teach that the movement is not dictated by you. It's not dictated by your hip thrust and everything. It is dictated by the movement of the kettlebell. So the kettlebell will tell you when to start the hike pass, when to hip thrust, and when to come back down into that hike pass position. So as you teach these movements, you teach anything, even if you were to teach just a basic squat, you have to be able to break them down. You have to be able to take that movement and piece by piece bridge them together. The kettlebell is broken down, like I said, it's only into two movements. There are other movements, but that's the foundation of the entire movement. It's the foundation, actually, that two-hand kettlebell swing, RKC, hard style swing, is the foundation of all the rest of the movements. So you have to learn that basic movement till you can get into a one-arm kettlebell swing, a snatch, a clean and jerk, all done with the kettlebell. The most important part is being able to freeze the lumbar spine. The lumbar spine has to be frozen during the hike pass, and you have to release through the breath. So when you see the video, you hear me go tss, 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 and that is me releasing that tension away so that I can rock forward and come back down. However, you want to keep that tension, you want to keep those core muscles engaged so that we're able to freeze the spine. Thank you for watching my video. I hope that it gets good grade. But anything else, thank you for allowing me to do this.